But there are times when our sin becomes, it's almost like a denial thing, or we justify or whatever, yeah, that's just what I do, whatever. And God sees that our sin is self-destructive behavior. And the only way that we're going to get desperate enough to come to him to deal with our sin is pain. And God will distance himself from us until we deal with it. Sometimes that's the case. Not always, but sometimes. Sometimes God seems distant because you need to clarify what you want. I've got all these little grandkids. I had kids before them, and they always want something. Papa, can I have this? Can I have that? Can I have this? Can I have that? Sometimes I just won't answer until, because if I give them everything that they're saying, what do you really want? And so sometimes silence helps us to clarify what is it we really want. Most often, though, I think that God is silent in order to test our faith. You say, I've heard that before, but that's kind of cruel, isn't it? Testing your faith. Why does he want to do that? Back in the day, I used to be a wrestler. Now, it's not professional wrestling. It's the real stuff. And I remember at first, I hated my coaches. I hated conditioning. Their goal was to make you puke in a bucket. Okay, that was it. And I remember this one drill that we had as a wrestler. In wrestling, you would go, in high school at least, you go 2-minute rounds, three 2-minute rounds. And you say you can do anything for 2 minutes. Listen, when you're up against somebody and you're going all out, that is exhausting. That is absolutely, I played football, and there's no comparison of how the kind of shape you have to be in order to wrestle. And so what they would do is, in training, you'd be on a mat with somebody that was fresh for 2 minutes, and then they'd bring somebody else who was fresh for 2 minutes, and then the next 2 minutes you'd run up and down the stairs, and we had this huge gymnasium, up and down. Somebody's there blowing whistles if you're lagging, and then you come back and start that process over and over, and you do it over and over and over again, and until you were absolutely exhausted. And I hated what kind of sadist is this that wants to do this? And here's when it turned for me. When I was on the mat, in a match, big match, and it's the third period, and we are both absolutely exhausted, and I got a little bit left in my tank. And I thought, that's why the coach did that. It's because he wanted me, my coach's goal is that I would be a champion against anybody. That there would never be a person that I'd walk on the mat with who was in better shape than me. And that's our Father God too. When he tests our faith, it's not because he's the cosmic party pooper who wants to rain on your parade. The muscles you build in pursuing God, you're going to need in pursuing your destiny. Don't be surprised when your faith is tested after you decide to take a step of faith. In fact, James 1 and verse 2 says it this way: consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds. Any of you there yet? I'm not. I'm getting better. It's like, okay, a trial. All right, God's in this, testing my faith. This is ultimately going to be good. I'm not, oh, awesome. There's a trial. This is good stuff. I'm not there yet. And I'm a lot more mature than almost all of you, okay? But I'm not there yet. But he says, get to a point where you consider it pure joy when you face trials of any kind. Why? Because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. It makes your faith muscles grow. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. He's saying the same thing my coach said. I want you to face any situation, and you're a champion in any situation. There will never be a person or a circumstance that you're up against that's in better shape faith-wise than you are. And so God tests our faith. He tests our faith, okay? So our faith journey begins with a difficult challenge. It usually gets worse before it gets better. And then the third thing we learn about our faith journey is this: a persistent faith is always rewarded by God. A persistent faith is always rewarded by God. Let's look at this story. This is where it gets real difficult.